Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Jens Davidson here again. It's been a while. Haven't posted a video in, I think, a little over 2 weeks at this point. The reason why is because Mother's Day is coming up, and this is my Mother's Day present. This very, very nicely now glued up, hand cut mortise and tenon jointed. It's 16 hand cut joints all throughout. Solid as a rock, straight, square. Glue ups are beautiful. This plus this absolutely gorgeous lower shelf, which is edge glued pine. Look at the sheen on that. It's all just my hand planes, along with a little bit of scraper action here and there, just card scraper. But that is edge glued maple with a decorative excuse to make it wider. It was too narrow after I used planes to joint up the seams, because this is a seam, believe it or not. That is stinking flawless. And that's another seam. With the grain here, you can almost not even tell that that's two boards. But after I used hand planes to joint these boards so that they would fit with a seamless glue up, the overall width was too narrow, so I used these thin pieces of plywood, and it turned out very, very beautifully. The whole thing is beveled all the way around. The corners are cut out because it fits inside. And what I'm working on right now, why I'm out of breath, is I am cutting a bevel, which I'd have to do the trigonometry for it, but down a ½ inch and out 3 times that, so a 3-to-1 ratio. A bevel here all the way around, and that is extraordinarily hard. Yeah, might have tendonitis tomorrow from running the planes. I didn't finish, it's too late. I gotta take a shower and go to bed, but I wanted to at least post something to you guys to let you know that I am still alive. Haven't done a video in a while because I've been fully dedicated on trying to get this done by Mother's Day, which is this weekend. And yeah, I mean, even it'll probably take me another ½ hour to finish getting that bevel just right and cleaning up the rest of the top. I'm using card scraper, this guy, for using this for smoothing the top. It does a very, very good job. It's hard to demonstrate with one hand, but once the top is all finished, then I'll have to come up with a means of anchoring it to the frame, anchoring the shelf to the frame, and then applying a finish, which is going to be a couple coats of tung oil, and then I'll finish it with wax. This has been an astronomical amount of work. I mean, every single one of those 16 mortise and tenon joints took about an hour and 10 minutes to cut. And so that right there is, 16 to 18 hours. And then another about 4 hours or so before I glued it up, taking everything apart, using that card scraper to get a very, very nice smooth finish on the inside and outside faces of the boards. I don't worry about the top and bottom. And then making sure that the fitment of the mortise and tenon is perfect before I glued it up. So that comes up to about 22 hours or so right there. That shelf was probably around 8 hours of work total. So we're over 30 hours there. And then this top right here, I made this butcher block style top years ago, 2016. This project has been in the pipeline for a long time, but I haven't had the time, the resources, or the place, i.e. a very nice temperature controlled basement wood shop to get it done until now. So yeah, I probably have about 12 hours of work, maybe a little less than that, maybe 8 hours or so into actually cutting everything up, gluing everything up, and then a friend of mine gave me a hand. He has a cabinet shop, and they used a drum sander for the top, and then of course, like I said, I finished it with card scraper. And then beveling this, I think I spent 2 hours last night and probably 4.5 hours this evening. So all in all, there's probably around 50 hours of work into that table over the course of many weeks. But that's where we are. Once I'm done with this, I'll get back to more regular video content. I do have a couple plans for cast iron skillets. I have a 12-inch Lodge that was purchased brand new by my brother. May 16th will be 7 years since he was killed in a motorcycle accident, so he left that to me, and I'm going to, there's parts where you can clearly tell that the factory Lodge seasoning has come off. There's bare iron. It's not rusted. I keep it oiled, but still, even factory Lodge seasoning does come off. So I'm going to sand that down and give it the same treatment that I did with the antique Lodge skillet that I did in my first YouTube video series. And then I have a Lodge griddle that I purchased brand new back in, I don't know, 2014 or so, which is basically a skillet, but it doesn't have walls. It's flat for pancakes and stuff. Same treatment to that one. And actually, I think that one I'm going to experiment with. I'm not going to spoil that, but I have an experiment I want to try for that. But that'll be fun. But yeah, I've got other videos that I want to put out besides that. I do have plans to build a workbench. This bench that I am working on here is not intended to be a workbench, but it does sort of serve the purpose. This is my dedicated radial arm saw table, but it is a fairly good height for planing. But I need to build a proper woodworking bench. That bench that I've done a lot of work on, all of the mortise and tenon joinery here was cut on that bench, and that shelf was planed on that bench. It serves its purpose, and it has its place, but when it comes to needing to do really hard work planing like this, especially on a piece that's this big, I mean, this is wider than that. I need to have a proper size workbench, so that's going to be a major project that I'm going to try and do in multiple part series, kind of like building this cabinet right here that I did. You guys remember that? Have you guys seen it? If not, check out the YouTube video series that I did on this back in November of 2020, when I was quarantined because I tested positive for coronavirus and had no symptoms of anything whatsoever. Underneath all this nonsense, there is a very nice top that I planed and scraped and got very beautifully flat, and then waxed it, and yeah, it's beautiful. So please hit the like button and subscribe. Again, there's plenty more videos to come, but I've just been dedicated on taking care of Mama. Alright, thank you very much for watching. We will see you on the next video.